Well, good afternoon. Welcome to the October the 17th, 2022 meeting of Gaston County Board of Education. I am Jeff Ramsey, Member at Large and Chairman of the Board. To my left is our Vice Chair, Dot Cherry. At this time, I would like to ask other members to introduce themselves.
Lee Denman, Gaston Township.
Justin Davis, South Point Township.
Robbie Lovelace, Cherryville Township.
Dot Guthrie, Gastonia Township.
On behalf of the board, we would like to welcome each and every one of you at our meeting this afternoon. Our first order of business is to have the prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag. I would like to ask Dr. Booker to lead us.
Thank you. Please join me in prayer. Father God, we thank you for your amazing power and the way you work in our lives. We thank you for your goodness and for the many blessings that you have poured over us. We ask that you be with those who suffer in today's world and feel that they lack your blessings. But we know that you are the God of love and of care. We thank you for your mercy and grace, and that you are always with us and never leave us. Forgive us when we don't recognize all that you do for us, for all that you are, and for all that you have been and will be. Help us to set our eyes and our hearts on you afresh, and renew our spirits and fill us with your peace. We thank you for being who you are. Amen. Amen. Please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The next order of business is to adopt the agenda. Do I hear a motion to adopt the agenda? Mr. Dedman, I have a second. Ms. Cherry, any discussion? All in favor? The agenda is adopted. Thank you. Our next order of business is to hear good news happening in our schools. Dr. Booker, what is the good news you'd like to share?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. I'd like to ask Matthew Heilig, a ninth grader at Forest View High School, to come forward, please. We have recognized a lot of athletes in this room, and today you have in front of you an individual who has won 2 gold medals and qualified for the USA Junior World Team at the United States Artistic Roller Skating Nationals competition. This is similar to figure skating, but competitors do it on roller skates instead of ice skates. So next week, Matthew will be traveling to Argentina for the World Skate Games, and you all can imagine the amount of hard work and effort for an athlete to excel at this level, and we're proud of Matthew's accomplishments. He is the first person from Team Skate of Kate Skate and Lowell to represent at this level. We wish him the best of luck in the international competition.
Skate. But I am going to walk toward you. I am going to congratulate you for a job well done. On behalf of our board chair, superintendent, board members, we are just happy to celebrate this achievement with you. We want you to fly to Argentina, and then we want you to skate your way to another championship. And on behalf of the Gaston County Board of Education, I am presenting this certificate of recognition to you today. We are very proud of you. We know that you're going to represent Gaston County well, and we wish for you the very best. Let's give him another round. Going to present this to you, and I will ask that your family come forward so that we can have some photos made. I think I know where they were sitting because I heard the yay, yay, yay. Thank you so much. You are very welcome. A Jaguar all the way to Argentina. Now, would you go shake the hand of the board members so they'll know what a champion feels like?
Next, I'd like to ask Sheridan Costner, who is the current Miss Gastonia, to come forward. Sheridan is a 2020 graduate of Forest View High School, and she currently attends Winston-Salem State University, where she is majoring in exercise science. She plans to become a sports physical therapist, and she was recently accepted into the Wake Forest Specialty Medical Team program. She represented Gastonia in the Miss North Carolina competition this summer, and she'll conclude her year of service next month when she crowns the next Miss Gastonia. It's always great to have one of our graduates back who continues to excel beyond their graduation. Ms. Guthrie?
Stevie Wonder once wrote, "Isn't she lovely? Isn't she beautiful?" Or whatever. I'm so proud. It gives me great pleasure, Ms. Costner, to present this certificate of recognition to a very beautiful and gifted young lady. And we want you to know that you wear the crown well. And we want to also thank your parents. I would like for them to stand now because they have worked and they've gone here and there with you. And we applaud your parents for this. What I like about what I've heard since you were crowned is that you're giving it back. You are a role model for our younger, I would say, sisters. So keep up the beautiful work that you're doing. And I know that you are an excellent dancer. I've seen that many times. So we want you to know we are very proud of you. Now, I know that I need to stop, so I'm going to present this certificate of recognition to you. Outstanding Achievement, Miss Gastonia 2022. We are proud, and we're going to ask that you have another cheerleader in the crowd this evening. Miss Pearl Burrs-Floyd, would you come forward, please? And parents, would you please come forward so that we can get a picture? I always like to be photographed with a beautiful young lady. So we're going to give this to you. And we will ask you, Miss Pearl, to make remarks after the photo. All right?
Everybody look right here for me.
Now, we're going to ask you to stand while Miss Pearl is going to make remarks, okay? All right?
And I will be brief. This is such an honor to stand here with Miss Gastonia. About 17 years ago, I stood here with my daughter, who was the first African-American woman to wear that crown as Miss Gastonia. She's another fan of yours, and she wanted me to tell you that you are just absolutely stunning, and everything that you do it to the degree of excellence that makes us all proud. So I bring those words to you as you continue to strive for the best. You are an outstanding person, inside and out. And we love you. You have fans everywhere. And every time you go out, you flash that $1 million smile, and it just melts the hearts of those who didn't know you, but wanted to know you, and you make all of us proud. So thank you for being our Miss Gastonia, for being our queen and representing us so well.
Now, Miss Gastonia, I'm going to hold this while you shake the hands up. Oh, to be young again.
In spirit, not in spirit.
Winston-Salem State Ram and Wake Forest Deacon, right? Yes, ma'am. I got it right. And here you are. And do enjoy your travel back to Winston-Salem. Thank you, parents.
Thank you, Ms. Guthrie. I'd like to invite the following teachers, who are all middle school teachers, to come forward if they're with us tonight. Andrea Bookout of Chavis Middle, Kelly Carpenter of Mount Holly Middle, Michelle Crowder of Stanley Middle, Faith Dibble of Stanley, Nicole Eskay of Holbrook Middle, Laura McDonald of Holbrook, Jennifer Ray of Mount Holly, Stephanie Vogel of Stanley Middle, Maria Chong of Southwest Middle, and Jennifer Ziegler of Mount Holly. These individuals have completed the GALE program, Gaston County Schools AIG Local Endorsement, to work with gifted students. This course is designed to highlight and promote best instructional practices and provide training for educators. Additionally, the teachers completed 12 modules on gifted topics and conducted a case study. We're proud of this extra effort that has gone in to prepare them to work with our students, and we know that our schools will benefit from this, not only for what you do for the AIG program, but what you do for your whole school community. Mr. Davis?
Thank you very much. And I just want to say thank you all for everything you're doing for our AIG children. One of the things that Gaston County Schools leads in statewide is our AIG program. We have such a wonderful AIG program. And my kids are the beneficiary of that. And so I've seen firsthand the enrichment opportunities and the things that they've been able to experience, and that so many of our kids across the county are able to experience. So we sincerely have a great deal of gratitude for everything that you all are doing for these kids. And so thank you so much, and we look forward to everything you're going to do for them. So thank you all very much. So I'm going to present each of these. Ms. Bookout, there you are. Ms. Carpenter. There you are. Ms. Crowder. No? There. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Sorry, got out of office.
Ms. Dibble. Yeah. There you go. Thank you.
Right.
Ray. And Ms. Ray, thank you so much. This is a great group of folks, y'all. So let's give another round of applause.
Members of the board, our last recognition tonight is thanks to one of our longtime business partners. So I'd like to invite some teachers from Gardner Park Elementary to come forward. Malaya Hui, Brianna Currents, Kennedy Devine, Carla Edge, and I think Rachel Stoller and Amy Hurley weren't unable to be with us tonight, but if you all could come forward, please. Each of these teachers was the recipient of a $500 grant from Tyndall Subaru. They were surprised when Subaru owner Natalie Tyndall and representatives from Tyndall Subaru came along with school principal Lynn Stamey and entered their classroom and presented them with their grant. I believe we have from Tyndall Subaru Paige Murphy and Robin Anderson with us. If you all would come forward, please. And Ms. Stamey, the principal, if you could join us. What is so impressive about this is it's not just a one-time contribution. This has been going on for several years, and Tyndall Subaru has provided the grants as a way to support our classroom teachers. And many of you who participate in Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader know that the partnership between Tyndall Subaru and Gardner Park is a long-standing one. So we are thrilled to have partners like Tyndall Subaru supporting our classroom teachers. And we want to thank Ms. Murphy and Ms. Anderson for being here to represent them. And we look forward to the ongoing support for Gardner Park, and particularly Natalie Tyndall and all that she does for many of our schools in our community. Ms. Cherry?
Lots of the things that I was going to say, but I think all of us know Natalie pretty well, and she is an amazing community partner, and she does so much and has a lot of it goes unsaid, but without her and our other community partners, things like this wouldn't happen. And it's just amazing what she does for our kids every single year. So on that note, please, ladies, please go tell her again how grateful we are for the things that she does. And have y'all gotten the money yet? Have you tell us what you're doing.
Yes.
What are we doing that our kids benefit from? So
Buy materials for our class, flexible seating options, and different things like that.
what are you doing with yours?
Oh, I'm
Tell me what you're doing.
Supplies, learning games, flexible seating.
Mine met the sensory needs of my population of students who all have special needs.
Oh, that's great. So it's just a wonderful gift that she continues, that Laurel County Board continue. Yes, I have to think. They can't do it sometimes. That they continue to do for us that we wouldn't be able to do without Natalie and y'all. So on that note, Rachel, not here, okay, and here, Todd, and Vincent, Amy, Todd, Kennedy, Mila, who am I missing? Carly? Carly. Hang them up in your rooms, and we're so very proud of y'all for getting this grant, and again, cannot thank Laurel County for enough. And Lynn, you do a great job at Gardner Park. So, anybody else here?
Everybody scoot in just a little bit. Perfect. Better right there. Okay, perfect. And can we get just our teachers and Ms. Cherry? No. Thank you.
Your support. Appreciate your, thank you for your appreciate it. Thank you for your support.
Thank you. Thank you for all you do. How are you? Good to see you.
You can close it out, sir.
Yeah, you can. Go ahead. Ms. Guthrie?
Mr. Chair, I am so happy always to hear the good news from our superintendent. And I was home watching TV one day, and I heard this Toyota commercial, and it says, "Never underestimate the power of a nudge." Well, I went to Greer Middle School, and I saw a nudge. I went to York Chester, and I saw a nudge. And I'm going to explain. At Greer, I was invited to the PTA group after school. And I applaud Ms. Jones and the teachers there at Greer for the effort that they are making to support the school's mission, as well as to bridge the gap between parents, grandparents, and our young people. They celebrated Grandparents' Day, and it was an awesome event there. And I loved every bit of the time that I was there. And then I went to York Chester to Mr. Wilson's International Music Festival and saw V. Lindsay, who is the parent coordinator there, walking with her students, showing them some of the things that were on display. We are seeing nudges are taking place in our schools, and we appreciate the effort that our educators are making. So I just needed to say that.
Well, thank you for sharing, Ms. Guthrie. The next item on the agenda allowed opportunity for public expression. This is a time when the board will hear the comments from the citizens about the matters of public concern related to our school system. Our board policy sets aside the first 30 minutes of our regular monthly meeting for citizens to address the board. Before we hear from the public, let me outline the rules of procedures. Citizens wishing to make a comment who have completed a request to speak form prior to the beginning of our meeting will be recognized by the chair and then requested to step to the microphone to make their comments. Citizens will state their name and address for the record. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Members of the board do not respond to public expressions during the public comment period. Public expressions do not allow for comments or confidential or personnel matters. Speakers who wish to give materials to the board will hand them to our clerk. The chair shall rule at all points of order during the public expressions. And the first one signed up is Angela Datsa. Yes, ma'am. Come.
Now I know what my students feel like when they get called first. Sorry, I have to wear my glasses.
Oh,
Good
no
afternoon,
problem.
ladies and gentlemen. I'm a teacher at Forest View High School. My name is Angela Datz. My information is on the form. So just so you know, I told my students to watch tonight to critique my feedback for you all. So I teach creative writing and I teach Spanish. I'm the unofficial translator for pretty much everything at Forest View, which I don't get paid for. That's another issue. For 10 months, I remained quiet regarding frustration over payroll, empty promises from emails, and an infinite number of emails filled with indistinct blame games. I've never spoken up, to be honest, quite truthfully, afraid of repercussions. But I am no longer going to remain silent. Silence is complacency, and I am not complacent with the blunders that are continuing. I tell my students to be brave, to stand up, to act. So now here I am to set the example, to stand up for myself and let you know that I am not accepting not getting paid correctly. Triple deductions, double deductions, getting deductions, healthcare deductions on a plug-in, which I've done every semester for 4 years. That's not acceptable. I teach 4 classes a day with no planning. I have 133 students. I dedicate my life to them. I'm in the hall every day at 7:30. I never leave school before 5 o'clock, and I work every single soccer game at Forest View. I don't ask for anything in return other than my fair pay, my fair wage, and my health care returned to me. I have several questions that I'd like to understand and get deadlines for. It is unacceptable that we are saying we're working on it, we're working on it, we're working on it, because that's all I've heard for 10 months. Working on it in anywhere else outside of the business world, you'd be fired. How am I supposed to save for my summer savings when I'm not getting that money? When will my check be correct? And how are you going to fix our W-2s? Because when you pay us back the money we are owed, you can't tax that money. It's already been taxed in my check. If Cherry Road cannot fix the mistakes, break the contract, go with someone else. Other counties have. And then how will our W-2s be corrected on time? And what will you do for the teachers whose credit is being ruined because they're not getting paid correctly? Because their monies are deducted automatically, like mortgage, health care, housing. And then finally, I've worked in international operations for 20 years. If people like the U.S. State Department and the U.S. government trusted me with their money, if you guys can't get it done, just call me. You know where to find me. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Jason Edward Black. Okay, Rebecca LeClary.
Good evening. My name is Rebecca LeClaire. My address is 6748 Kemp Street. I'm an enrolled member of the Lumbee Tribe, and I'm also the chairperson for Metro Atlanta Native American Association, and a commissioner for the North Carolina Commission of Indian Affairs. While supporters of the Red Raider claim that it honors Native Americans, those of us who are actually leaders in the local Native community have repeatedly made clear that we find the Red Raider offensive, disrespectful, and racist. Those who recently decided to do a DNA test and or claim Native ancestry do not have the right to speak for indigenous community, and many in Belmont have done exactly that, very disrespectful actions. Gaston County School claims to be committed to a safe and nurturing learning environment for all students. Yet in over 2 years, the superintendent and school board have never once been willing to meet with us or respond to our concerns about the hostile learning environment created by Red Raiders. The reason I'm here today is to ask the Gaston County School Board why they refuse to meet with parents and students about the Red Raider mascot. It's just a meeting, and you refuse to even do that. The Red Raider doesn't just affect this county, and that is what everyone needs to understand. What is taught and learned in this county affects the community, region, and state. Every school district that has removed offensive mascots has been done by the school board. But you continue to hide behind, we don't have a policy. By leaving this to a community, you are causing a huge divide. We're not causing that divide. You are, because you won't make the correct decision. I'm beginning to believe that you think that ugly, offensive mascot gives the football team strength. But what you're doing is causing the media and state officials to take notice. I also want to take this opportunity to explain who Native American Guardian Association is and why it was very disrespectful for this community to bring them here last year, and how everyone should do more research on them. NAGA was formed to go around and spread false information to naive Caucasians, desperate for a Native American to side with their racist ways about the research on mascots. NAGA also knows, like I publicly told them, that at their visit, that it is a Native American culture that you respect what state and tribal leaders have said. The fundraiser that was held recently of Red Raider keychains, where the profit went to NAGA, is exactly what that organization expected, money, and you fell for it. I'm expecting this school board to do the right thing. You have my number. You have my email. Why haven't you just reached out and said, let's have a meeting and talk about this? The mascot's going to be changed. We're asking for some collaboration, or you'll just be forced to do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Reverend Dr. Richard Boyce.
Richard Boyce, citizen of Belmont, father of 4 students at South Point High School. I've been here before. Todd, I liked your notion of nudges. I've been nudging, and I've been trying to do it constructively and civilly now for 2.5 years. I want to say that again, 2.5 years. There's a lot of red here in the audience, and it was a little loud outside the gathering. There's another group that's wanting to be paid, and they deserve to be paid. That's gone on 9 months. We set up our protest here long ago. Why? Because it's a week from Indigenous Peoples Day, and we are going to keep this in front of you. You keep saying it's a local issue. I get nothing from the principal in the school at South Point. You say it's not a school board issue, but I dare say education of our students, protection from bullying, and protection of our underrepresented citizens is your direct responsibility. I don't know what I'd do with the payroll issue. I don't know anything about software for payroll, but y'all know about education. You know about local politics, and you know about protecting our students. All we're asking for is an audience and a constructive conversation. I think there are ways forward on this, and we've floated some of those. Please, take some leadership on this. Let's collaborate rather than having this imposed on us. I think Gaston County's better than that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Becky Gaither. Yeah, Miss Board Clerk. Thank you.
My name is Becky Gaither. I've been here before. I'm a citizen of Belmont, North Carolina. I'm a parent whose children go to Gaston County Schools, whose son attended South Point High School, and whose middle schooler will attend in just a few short years. I've supplied you with materials because I realized the last time I was here that not one of you reached out to me and asked for information. What I have supplied you with, I hope others will investigate for themselves, educate yourselves about what these mascots do to harm not just Native students, but all students. The first article I supplied you with is the summary of the American Psychological Association. It is about recommending the retirement of American Indian mascots. It's just a two-page article I would love for you to read, but I will quickly synopsize one part of the article. It says, research has shown that the continued use of American Indian mascots, symbols, images, and personalities has a negative effect on not only American Indian students, but all students by undermining the educational experiences of members of the communities, especially those who have had little or no contact with Indigenous people. The symbols, images, and mascots teach non-Indian children that it's acceptable to participate in culturally abusive behavior and perpetuate inaccurate misconceptions about American Indian culture. I will not read that full article. I've supplied it in your materials. The next article is a 16-page article written by Ferris State University. There's a number of references for you to refer to, but in particular, I will just read one sentence. It says, in reference to mascots, these images are so powerful that many non-native people do not see us as modern people with a valued history, a living culture, a language, or even a future. I'm asking again that you retire such a native mascot that is truly in its heart racist. My son will attend South Point High School. I give you the responsibility to make that a safe place for him so that he can go and not feel discriminated against. Thank you.
Thank you. Lauren Frady.
My name is Lauren Frady, and my address is on the form. It is your obligation, it is your mandate to create a safe space for students that is safe from racial discrimination, and that includes racial caricatures. You say you don't have a policy. You do have a policy. It is your policy on keeping students safe from racial discrimination. And we need y'all to understand that this fight is not just 2.5 years old. We've been doing this for 2.5 years. It is as old as this nation. It has been going on since the first colonizer profaned indigenous soil. This fight is as old as the ongoing genocide this mascot represents. The first recorded reference to Native peoples as read was in a call for their slaughter. That is what you and your students are taking so much pride in. You are passing that hate on to children. Murder is what that mascot represents. Any claims otherwise come from misinformation and propaganda that is used to justify the colonial violence that continues to be inflicted upon Indigenous people. You don't get to call yourself educators if I've lost my place, excuse me. You don't get to call yourself educators if what you endorse is a vicious, racist lie. You need to do the right thing by your students, and you need to do right by your teachers and resolve these payroll issues. You have the opportunity to do the right thing here on both counts and meet your mistakes with honesty and grace. This mascot is an impediment to education, and so long as it is there, the students in your county will learn that hate and racism are normal, okay, and something to be proud of. You can choose to take pride in education. Why did you choose this job? Where is your spark for learning? Where is your curiosity? These incredible local Indigenous leaders have come here time and time again to offer their time and labor to you, to educate you so that you may better do your jobs. So I just want to know, when are you going to do your jobs?
Thank you. Dana Frady.
I do have information.
Okay, our clerk right over here. You can do it after you speak if you
Okay.
want to. Thank you.
All right, good evening. My name is Dana Frady. I'm a resident of Belmont, and you have my address on the form. I am a member of the Retire the Red Raider Community Collaborative, along with many Indigenous and tribal members that you have heard from time and time again, from incredible students, even from teachers who have come here to speak to you. And by the way, we are incredibly in favor of the teachers who are here this evening. We have discussed that at our meetings a couple weeks ago. We have received support from higher education institutions, from organizations across the state, including the North Carolina Commission on Indian Affairs. And it is now my honor to read a letter that was written specifically for you tonight from the North Carolina Mascot Education and Action Group. This is from Monroe Gilmore, the coordinator. It is dated October 17th, 2022, for the Board of Education meeting. Good evening, my name is Monroe Gilmore. I grew up in Charlotte, but now I live in Black Mountain. I am coordinator of North Carolina Mascot Education and Action Group. I'm sorry I cannot be with you in person, but I do hope that my observations will be useful in your deliberations. Since 1996, I have worked with American Indians, K-12 schools, and boards of education across North Carolina toward the goal of having all school mascots be positive ones that each school can be proud of and rally behind. Having seen 40 public schools in North Carolina retire their Indian mascots and adopt new ones, I have learned two main lessons. First, it is not the end of the world or the end of a strong school identity when a mascot is changed. School identity is derived from the students, the faculty and staff, and the community. We have seen those constituencies get behind new mascots with the same enthusiasm they may have today, and they can do so enthusiastically without worrying about hurting the dignity of American Indian students or citizens in the community, or hurting their school and school system's educational reputation. Second, the time is long past when we should demonstrate our respect for all cultures and educate and mentor our children.
Thank you, Ms. Frady, and you can pass that, your information to our board clerk. Thank you. Valerie Schuler.
Thank you. My name is Valerie Schuler, and my address... I'm done already. My name is Valerie Schuler, and my address is on the form. I want to thank my former students and volleyball players who came out to support me tonight. That was really sweet. This conversion to Oracle has been about what I call the 3 Ds: deflect, dodge, and distract. Deflection by everyone in this room, deflecting blame on a computer system, your employees, or each other in other departments. This is not a user problem. This is a data problem from day one. What are you doing to fix the issues without starting over? What was done initially in your conversion to run both systems in parallel to see if you got the same output from one system to the new system? And if you didn't get the same output, what was done to fix it? Or did Gaston County Schools just dive in and hope for the best? Each monthly payroll or bi-weekly payroll run, you should know who needs to be paid. And if something's wrong, you should see it. Is any mapping or data analytics done with each payroll system, each payroll run? And again, if you're doing this, it's a data problem. It's existed in January and it still exists today. Dodge is point number 2. Be patient. Give us time to fix the issues. Well, almost 11 months in, patience has run thin or non-existent. Since January, employees have been letting you know what is wrong with their pay. They have done this by the Google form you created initially, or they have called or emailed the finance department, or showed up at the HR offices. Now you form a customer service team to do exactly what the employees have been doing since January. What does this customer service team do? Do they take down the same information they have voiced since January? And who do they take it back to? How long will it be until people's problems are fixed? What about the employees who have already left or retired? How do you fix the problems presented from the customer service team? Your employees believe they will never get fixed. Every error should be fixed, even if $1 is owed. Here's my information from my payroll system. Every employee is doing this each month to look at what is wrong in their payroll. Finally, distract. Good news you spend at the school boards will eventually go away. The quality of education that your teachers are doing is going to go down. It's going to go away. You talk about going to promote good news. Have you shown up on a payroll day when people are crying, upset? Have you shown up to find out what's wrong? We're understaffed, and how are you going to replace these teachers? If these actions were corrected, this problem are being done out of media scrutiny. I hate to think what would have happened had we not brought it to the public's attention.
Thank you, Ms. Sheila. Ava Clarkson. And we got 5 more people on the list, so I'm going to go to 2 minutes now. So if you can summarize to 2 minutes each where we give opportunity for all the other people to speak. Thank you.
Okay. My name is Ava Clarkson. My address is on the form. I recently attended a South Point High School football game with one of my friends from South Point. Every 15 to 20 minutes during the game, the entirety of the crowd would participate in a tomahawk chop, which according to the New York Times is an offensive mockery of the indigenous people. I asked my friend, "What do you think of all of this?" And she told me that she had no idea what it meant. She had no idea about the offensive undertones behind what she was doing. She learned this behavior from the school. She then told me not to say a word about this mascot being offensive to anyone in the crowd because it could lead to fights or people yelling. That day I went home and I realized just how much this mascot affects the mental health of South Point students. My friend now knows it's offensive, but she is too scared to speak up and risk getting bullied. In all of this, I realized just how urgent the retiring of the Red Raider truly is. For over a year now, I have attended these meetings stating my thoughts on this particular issue as a Gaston County student. And for 2.5 years, Retire the Red Raider as a whole has shown up asking for some kind of action on ridding South Point High School of their offensive mascot. Today, we showed up with signs, stories, and speeches. I asked you, what exactly have you done to ensure the safety of your Native students since we first started coming to these meetings? Has anything changed? Are the voices of Native tribal leaders and South Point students not enough? Is it not convincing, not believable, not important? As a school board, your job is to protect and value the voices and opinions of all Gaston County members. I beg you to truly open your hearts and strive for some kind of change. I transferred to this school system from a charter school because I thought Gaston County would be a better environment for me. I want to believe this. I want this to stay true. But right now you have 2 different protesting groups trying to get your attention. So please, take this as a sign. Listen. Native people are suffering. Your students are being misguided, and racism is being normalized in one of your schools.
Thank you. Pam Miller.
Good evening. I live in Cramerton. My name is Pam Miller. For anybody in the room who doesn't know me, after all the times I've been up here, I teach first grade at Page Primary, and I am president of Gaston NCAE. I'm here once again to request that our payroll be fixed now. At the last board meeting, I overheard someone make the statement that there were rumors that GCS staff were not getting paid. These are not rumors. Do your due diligence and talk to your people. I know of someone who has not had pay from January fixed yet. Summer school staff that fed our students were not paid correctly, and it has not been rectified yet. I know of someone else who had to chase her own pay for January until July. She showed me a folder this thick of all of her documentation of where she was getting her payroll fixed. Educators at all levels are working 2 and 3 jobs to make ends meet. So doing without a few $100s or more is not feasible. I want to share with you words that I strive to live by. Micah 6:8 says, God has shown you, O mortal, what is good and what the Lord requires of you. Do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. Now, please ask yourselves if the leadership of this district is following that. Thank you.
Thank you. Tyler Monfest. Is that, okay. Did I? Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Tyler Monfils, and my information, including my address, is on the form. I'm here to speak to you about the Red Raider mascot. This issue is very important to me, as I am a community member who cares deeply about the rights and comfort of traditionally oppressed groups and cultures. This mascot is highly offensive to those of indigenous cultural background and needs to be retired. You've heard this explanation upon explanation for 2.5 years now. So why has no action been taken? Communication is always vital in any coalition. You must be able to speak to and listen to your acquaintances. In your case, as a school board, your acquaintances are your community. Communication with your community is crucial for you, as you deal with young, impressionable students. These students may adopt the stereotypes of this mascot as okay, resulting in a generation of normalized, appropriated, offensive stereotypes. This is not a passive issue. Your community is actively being misled and harmed. In 2000, the North Carolina Commission of Indian Affairs called for an end to indigenous mascots. That was 22 years ago. The Retire the Red Raider movement has been in accord with 9 different Native tribes in North and South Carolina, as well as the Metrolina Native American Association, which advocates for over 10,000 natives in our region. Not only has your community spoken, but the world has spoken. The fact that the community has spoken loudly about this issue for so long, and yet no action has been taken, is bewildering to me. Students are being misguided and offended, and yet you act with ignorance of the issue at hand. It pains me to say this after all the time we've spent already fighting for this, but we will continue to attend and speak at these school board meetings. We will continue to hold protests. We will continue to advocate for the retirement of the Red Raider until the day a student of indigenous culture can walk into South Point High School and feel welcome. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Julie Grooms.
Good evening. My name is Julia Grooms. I'm a longtime part of Gaston County Schools. I'm a graduate of Bessemer City High School, but I'm also a graduate of UNC Chapel Hill. I chose to be an instructional teacher assistant. God chose Bessemer City Primary. I knew I would receive nominal pay, but I did not realize I would receive no pay. I'm down to being owed 13 hours from the week of January 17th. I'm down to being owed double deductions of $37.80. I'm also owed a $500 growth bonus. Bessemer City Primary had some of the highest growth last school year, and most of our teachers have received their $3,000 bonus, but you've missed one, and she deserves her bonus. None of the teacher assistants have received theirs. We had 17 members meet with customer service, and not one of 2 weeks ago, and we've received no response, no email, nothing. And it's the same form that we have filled out over and over and over. I'm just asking that you will please take us serious and get us paid. Thank you.
Thank you. Sherry Willis. Sherry Willis. Okay, thank you.
Good evening, supporters of public education. I'm Sherry Willis, a fifth grade teacher at WABES and a 19-year employee of Gaston County. I live in Belmont. As we approach month 10 of payroll errors, I want to be sure that each of you understands that we are not appeased. We, the almost 4,000 employees of Gaston County Schools, are not content to go home once again and be patient. A promise of a future bonus is laughable. Bringing random employees to serve as a customer service team is insulting at the very least an impediment to the confidentiality expected by every employee in this country. Gaston County Schools is the largest employer in the county. These citizens depend on you each month to pay them by state law promptly and correctly, so that they can, in turn, put that money back into the community. I request the following: a timeline that must be concluded before the end of this year so as not to cause W-2s to be incorrect. Exact procedures for how paychecks will be adjusted and how employees will know that it has been done correctly. A commitment to employees that any future error will be corrected within 1 week. Due to these errors resulting in thousands of dollars for these approximately 3,900 employees of Gaston County Schools and not knowing what we don't know, I would like to request a third-party objective auditor go through our pay for the 2022 fiscal year. It does not seem out of line for employees to want more oversight when the only consistency we've had in 10 months has been inconsistency. My final and most sincere request.
Go ahead. You're fine. Go ahead.
Is for the leaders, at least one of the leaders of this county, to demonstrate courage, to stand up with employees, for employees, and to remain firm until this entire debacle has been resolved.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments and continued concern of Gaston County Schools. Although the board does not typically respond during the period of public comments, we do want to hear from you and the public and direct our staff to work on those issues that need to be addressed. Thank you again for your comments. The next item on the agenda is the approval of correction of minutes. I need a motion to approve the minutes for September the 19th, 2022. Mr. Dedman. Second by Mr. Davis. Any discussion? All in favor? The minutes are approved. Next item on the agenda is the report of the Operation Committee. The Operation Committee is chaired by Lee Dedman. The other members are Dot Cherry, Kevin Collier, and Brent Moore. Mr. Dedman. All right, thank you.
Okay. The Operations Committee met on Monday, October 3rd at 4 o'clock here in the boardroom. Those in attendance were Kevin Collier, myself, and Brent Moore. Our Oracle Technology Coordinator, Sean Markwith, updated us on Oracle Cloud and the conversion progress. He shared with us that an Oracle consultant will be joining us to help issues as they occur. Weekly meetings continue with Cherry Road and their support team. Project Manager Paul Knopp informed us that the design development drawings for the new Greer School have been completed. Also, 95% of the construction drawings have been completed, and we plan to begin the process of obtaining building permits this month. The bidding for the general contractor is planned to take place in January of 2023, with the start build date to begin in May in 2023. He also gave us an update on the roof at Stanley and shared that the repairs have begun on October the 13th and the 14th. Morgan Hushard, our Executive Director of Auxiliary Services, shared information regarding the easement request by Duke Energy at WABS Elementary. This item is on the board consent agenda for approval tonight. He also updated us on the water line projects at Chapel Grove, Tryon, and Lowell Elementary Schools. This is being led by Gaston County with grant funding they received through the American Rescue Plan Act. The committee also reviewed and is recommending approval on the consent agenda for the following contracts: Smart School Bus Safety Pilot Program through Transportation, a boiler renovation at Kaiser Elementary School, LED lighting at North Gaston High School. We'll meet again on Monday, November 14th at 4 o'clock here in the boardroom. And that's our report.
Thank you for that report, Ms. Cherry. The next item on the agenda is a report from the Curriculum and Instruction Committee. Ms. Dot Guthrie is our chair of that committee. The other members at the committee is Justin Davis, Steve Hall, and Robbie Lovelace. Ms. Guthrie.
Mr. Chair, Mrs. Lovelace will present our report.
All right, thank you.
The Curriculum and Instruction Committee met October 3rd, 2022. Members present were Dot Guthrie, Steve Hall, Justin Davis, Jeff Ramsey, and Dot Cherry. The meeting was called to order at 12:01 p.m. Cynthia Reynolds presented updates for the Title I and the Aspire after-school programs. 3 additional Title I schools qualified for core teachers to receive an incentive bonus. Beginning October 2022 through May 2023, Aspire would like to add aerobic fitness and STEM education to the programs at each site. The added opportunities will promote engagement and creativity through fun, hands-on activities. Shannon Hullett provided a LETTERS, which is Language Essentials for Teachers of Reading and Science, update. All principals have completed their 12-hour training sessions. The coursework completion date for Unit 1 was October 7th. Teacher scoring increased with each assessment of Unit 1. 20% of teachers completed Unit 1 before the due date. Training for Unit 2 will begin on October 18th, 2022. Jill Payne updated the committee on the Teacher Assistant to Teacher program. Teacher assistants aspiring to become elementary classroom teachers can do so through a Gaston County Schools partnership with Belmont Abbey College or Gardner-Webb University. Candidates were selected for the program in May 2022 and began coursework during the summer session. 15 candidates with a 4-year degree have already been placed in classrooms as the teacher of record for the 2022-23 school year. Participants are currently taking fall courses at Belmont Abbey College or Gardner-Webb University. The next meeting will be held on November the 4th, 2022 at noon. The meeting adjourned at 1 o'clock p.m.
Thank you for that report. The next item on the agenda is the National Principals Month proclamation. Ms. Todd Hagan, sorry.
Good evening, Chairman Ramsey, Vice Chairman Cherry, members of the board, and Superintendent Booker. October is National Principals Month. Again this year, we have a proclamation to present to you for consideration and approval. At this time, I would like to read the proclamation. Whereas each year, October is designated National Principals Month in recognition of principals, assistant principals, and other school administrators for their outstanding leadership and significant influence on the success of every student. And whereas while the role of a school administrator requires competence, knowledge, and skills, a successful school administrator must also possess passion, understanding, and a servant's heart, and have the ability to create a dynamic school culture where teachers can teach and students can learn to their full potential. And whereas in addition to establishing academic expectations and managing day-to-day operations, school administrators take on the responsibility of collaborating with students, teachers, parents, and the community to create a safe, inclusive, and caring environment where the shared belief that public education is the cornerstone of our democracy is paramount. And whereas we are extremely proud of our administrators in Gaston County Schools, and we appreciate their steadfast commitment to inspiring success and a lifetime of learning in our 56 schools. Now therefore be it resolved that the Gaston County Board of Education is pleased to join other boards of education across the United States in proclaiming October 2022 as National Principals Month, and encourages the citizens of Gaston County to recognize and thank all school administrators for their many efforts to ensure excellence in education in our community. Be it further resolved that this proclamation be made a part of the minutes of the Board of Education adopted the 17th day of October 2022. And Mr. Chairman, the proclamation is before you for approval, and once it is approved, we have 5 principals with us to accept the proclamation on behalf of all school administrators in Gaston County Schools.
Okay. Any comments, or do you like to go and start? All right, Ms. Gaston.
I want to say, first of all, that we truly appreciate what you do, principals, from day to day. And as the proclamation was being read, I heard excellence in education, success of every student, passion and understanding, academic expectation. We are proud of you, and we want to thank you for that. When you walk into Woodhill School or Lingerfeld School or any of the other schools, you see the principals at work trying to move our students and to do just what that proclamation said. I was at Woodhill and I saw the principal for just a little while. She didn't have time to talk to me. She was busy with her students, right, Ms. Henderson? And that's the way it should be. And we appreciate you, and we appreciate what you do each and every day. We understand. We understand, and we greatly appreciate. I've been in the classroom. I've wanted to do my best, and I've wanted the recognition for that. Not just so that I could go out and say, oh, I received that. Because parents in the community can see that a school is part of a community, and that what you do for the community will enhance what you do in your schools, and we appreciate that. So we celebrate with you, principals. We know that each day is different. You face so many challenges, but we appreciate what you do each and every day and how you manage your schools and your students. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Guthrie. Mr. Davis?
Just want to echo Ms. Guthrie. I just want to echo Ms. Guthrie's comments very briefly. It was very well said, Ms. Guthrie, and thank you. But just wanted to add that our principals are an outstanding group and go above and beyond. And whatever needs to be done in our schools, they step up and do it. And we saw it through COVID, and we see it every day. I was at Belmont Elementary a few weeks ago, and as Ms. Guthrie said, it's hard to get to talk to the principal because they're busy all the time. And Ms. Tollison was there, and she spoke to me, but she had more important things to do than mess with me. I was there to speak with the fourth grade about a unit in government that they were doing. But it's just outstanding the work that our principals do, and I thank them very, very much.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Would anybody like to make a motion on this, Ms. Guthrie?
So moved. Go ahead.
The dot did it.
The dot.
There's too many dots.
I'll second.
Second, all right. All in favor? That's unanimous. Thank you.
And at this time, Mr. Chairman, we would like to invite the following principals to come forward to accept the proclamation, and
Okay.
I have it here for you to present to the
Okay.
principals. We have with us Dr. Brian Denton from Hunter House High School, who is chairman of the principals leadership team. We have Kristen Kaiser of Lowell Elementary School, who is the current Gaston County Principal of the Year. Bridget Best from Pleasant Ridge Elementary School, a previous Gaston County Assistant Principal of the Year winner and a member of the North Carolina Accelerator Leadership Program. Anara Henderson from Woodhill Elementary School, who also is a member of the North Carolina Accelerator Leadership Program, and Amy Tollison from Belmont Central Elementary School, who was named the Gaston County Assistant Principal of the Year last year. And we'd like for them to come forward at this time.
He's going to be in the middle. But on behalf of the board, as they all spoke just a few minutes ago, we know y'all have the hardest job directing traffic, a little bit of everything. Your job description is probably this long, and we added to it through COVID. So personally, we want to thank each and every one of you for your hard work and doing a great job. Thank y'all. And if y'all, somebody, I'm gonna get behind y'all, because y'all rock that.
No, you're good, Mr. Ray.
No, go on, thank you.
Jump in. Here we go. Got it.
Thank you. Y'all come around.
Chair, I know that Mrs. Lovelace talked about the teacher assistant to the teacher program. May I just say one thing about that?
Yes, ma'am.
Friday, the
That's right.
teachers, that program met, and the teachers were asked to say something about their experience in the classroom. Dr. Bucknight asked
They're wow factor.
their wow, yeah. Well, I'm getting to the point. So, one teacher did say that she walked in one morning and there was change on her desk. And she asked about the change. And the little child said that he brought the change to her because he loved her. And to me, that was just an awesome way to say, you're nudging these children and you're pushing them forward, and the teachers are making a difference. And again, we appreciate that, Dr. Bucknight, and I'm glad you asked them to share their experiences in the classroom so that we could hear directly from them. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Ms. Guthrie. The next item on the agenda is the school business system modernization update. Gary Hoskins.
As Gary makes his way forward, I want to make a couple of comments. One, I appreciate what was said tonight, and I appreciate particularly the last speaker, and I know we don't respond directly, but I want to say commitment. I haven't seen anybody running from the commitment of what it takes to work through this. I've never said any of this was acceptable, one bit. And for an individual to get up and share about $37, $3,000, none of that is acceptable. The customer service team's purpose was we recognized people weren't getting answers, and some of the questions were direct, basic questions, and they couldn't understand. And so the purpose was there. That's a volunteer. So if someone thinks that it's personal information, they don't do it. But what that team is there is to try and facilitate, and we have had success with individuals where, okay, I didn't understand that, and the person could walk them through, because if we pull payroll department to do that, then they're not working on the issues. The staff that is in the payroll department works to try and get the payrolls run that we have. But I hear loud and clear, and I believe, based on the conversations I have daily with members of the board, you hear loud and clear, none of this is acceptable. I spent probably half a day Friday working with the state treasurer's office. We have again submitted additional documentation for the June payroll retirement with Orbit system. And we've worked, and I've had conversation, it's We're on first name basis now. So that is not, it's not to make light of it. It is not to make that it is correct in any means, but we are working to get that. And I agree, this must be fixed by December 31. No one thinks otherwise. We know that. Mr. Hoskins will share, we are very fortunate this has gotten elevated within the Oracle organization to some skill level people. We have an individual in district today. We were elevated to a team of individuals a week ago that have started working and doing some of the very questions that people are asking. Why don't you know this? Why don't you know this? They're in the system trying to determine some of those things. We want payroll to get to where the issues are minimal and manageable. It is true, no payroll is ever perfect, but you should be able to fix it within a couple of days. Agreed, 100%. And so I just want folks to know they are being heard, and it's no one turning from it. And anytime I compliment what's going on in the payroll department, people say, well, it's not enough. But I can say to continue to beat those who are trying to work on it doesn't get us anywhere. Just like I have asked the state for grace on some of the things that Ms. Powers will be presenting later on what they're expecting of our teachers related to achievement scores and things. I'm saying the same thing on this. Again, it is money, it is people's, and everyone is due what they are owed, and by no means is anyone not paying for it. I'm sorry, Gary, it's your presentation.
Thank you, Superintendent Booker. Chairman Ramsey, Vice Chair Cherry, members of the board. I'm here to present a update on the School Business Systems Modernization Program. I think you got a good sense in public expression of the challenges that we're facing and how that's impacting our employees. In previous meetings, we've talked about the history of SBSM. We've talked about the goals, the impact, and the historical timeline. We're not going to focus on that anymore. We're going to focus on what are the issues that we're trying to address. I've got a list of the global payroll issues here, and when I say the global payroll issues, these typically impact a large group. We understand that there are other individual issues that employees may have, but this is where we're focusing a lot of our attention on. Retirement contributions, multiple voluntary deductions. You've heard a number of comments about that today, and rightfully so. Longevity payments, EPI teacher deductions, and classified employee issues. So starting with retirement, as you mentioned, last month when we were here, we were at the same place we are right now. The Orbit, North Carolina retirement files have been posted through May. We've submitted June several times. We worked on it last week. We worked, as you mentioned, with the state treasurer and their department on getting these files accepted. We cannot post July, August, or September until we get through this June file. And you'll recall we had problems with our April file that backed things up, and June's looking like the same thing. The Empower, which is also formerly called Prudential, that's probably what a lot of people remember as Prudential, but it's now called Empower. The 401k file, that is up to date. September would be the most recent posting that you have for that. However, we have other retirement plans, the 457 and the 403B, that are posted through June, but we have to update as well. The reason this is number one, when I put this list together, is that retirement affects every single full-time employee. So that's why that's number one. Number two, this is the biggest impact on the employees that it affects, and this is multiple voluntary deductions. We had this issue start January, February. We sort of got it resolved for a few months, and then it hit us again in August. The excess deductions were caused typically when someone had multiple positions. If you're a teacher and a tutor, or a teacher and a plug-in, then when that plug-in position was set up, it was set up to deduct insurance benefits. And so we've gone through and changed that data to where it does not take out benefits, but we still have to go back and reimburse those employees for the amounts that were taken. As Dr. Booker mentioned, we have negotiated, or through DPI, we now have Oracle on-site at Gaston County Schools. They started working with us last week remotely. The gentleman that is the primary, he's a 30-year Oracle employee. He's not a contract employee. He's been, if you think about what technology was 30 years ago, he's seen a lot. And he has worked with Oracle Cloud for 8 years, so he is a very experienced person. He's not here this week. Another gentleman is here this week, but he will be here next week. That is one of the top things that we're going to have them helping us with, because the voluntary deductions is a big issue financially to our employees, and it's a big issue to get resolved because it goes back, as some people mentioned, back to January. Some of these have been refunded, either through retro pay or off cycles, but most of these have not. And we are going to put Oracle as soon as we can to help us with getting these deductions identified and refunded as soon as we can. Also, longevity payments. This is affecting people that were supposed to receive longevity in July and August. The September longevity file seems to have worked. We believe we've got a fix for July, but we're still working with Cherry Road on that. EPI teacher deductions. We have about 80 EPI teachers. These are contract teachers that we typically hire to fill hard to fill teaching positions. Spanish, math, science. Because they're contract employees, they're not supposed to have FICA deductions taken out, at least for the first 2 years, not supposed to have retirement taken out. We have identified this problem, and some of these have already been refunded, and we're working to get these refunded, the ones that have not yet been refunded in the next pay run. Classified employee issues, really, it's not issues. Classified employees got a 4% or $15 an hour increase by the state General Assembly in this year's budget. All of those have been input into Oracle. We believe that about 95% of them were paid on the last pay cycle, and we've got the last 5% we're processing today and tomorrow. All increases are retroactive back to July 1st, so that will hopefully be cleared up here with this next pay cycle. And then other classified issues, I think somebody mentioned the school nutrition employees. I know that I've approved about 200 of these over the last 3 days. This should be in the next biweekly pay slip. They should have received a higher rate of pay because this was a COVID-related summer learning program. Instead, they got paid their normal rate of pay and should have been paid the premium rate of pay. And so HR has gone through, put in those premium rates of pay. They come to me for approval, and I was approving over the weekend for those, and we should expect to see substantially all of those that we know about at least in this next biweekly pay slip. So the issue resolution, I know we talked about the customer service team, and as Dr. Booker mentioned, the main reason for this is that finance, HR, payroll, were just not being responsive to people because we were overwhelmed, and that's not an excuse, but we were not responding the way we have responded previous to the conversion, and our fix for this was to send people out to the schools rather than having people come to us with a customer service team and sit down and talk with these employees. The files that they generate from that customer service team come to finance at the end of every day or the beginning of the next day. They have visited over 36 schools or 36 schools through today. The rest of those schools will be visited by the end of this month. We also had some people asking, well, what about the central office? And so the customer service team will be sort of educating the directors or supervisors of those departments, I think later this week or maybe next week, so that they can help out their departments. And again, we plan to have that done by the end of October. As we mentioned earlier, the on-site Oracle resource, we need assistance in fixing these, especially the voluntary excess deductions. And we believe that the Oracle on-site resource has the knowledge to help us do this. We will be pulling in people outside of payroll to help us, as long as that Oracle resource can help direct them on how to help us fix these issues. This person will be here between 20 and 25 days, and maybe 1 or 2 people. We're not sure, really based on their schedule. As I mentioned earlier, we've already been meeting with them on a daily basis last week. This is with the payroll supervisor, Sean Markwith, who's our Oracle technology coordinator, and the Oracle resource, and myself have been meeting on a daily basis, remotely. And as I mentioned, when they get here, we've got to identify and correct existing payroll issues. As I mentioned, the plug-in position, if a plug-in position is coded to pay benefits, that's what's causing some of these issues. We've identified that, and we believe we've resolved that. But we need to identify and use Oracle to help identify other issues so that they don't continue. It tends to be the same people over and over again. There's something deep in the data that came across, or somewhere deep in Oracle that we've got to get fixed. So we are going to be looking to them to help us with that. As I mentioned earlier, the reimbursement of excess deductions is another key, and just helping us improve the efficiency and accuracy of our future pay runs. Having proper reports so that we can identify problems before they go out on pay slips. So that's what we'll be doing there. And then the customer service team has come back to Sean Markwith, payroll, myself, and said, look, we have all these people that are asking the same questions. Can we, sort of put this somewhere in a common document? So we created a frequently asked question document. Also, there's a lot of confusion about pay slips. I mean, if you look at what a pay slip looked like in January and what it looks like now, it's really different. And I hope that it's going to be even better between now and 6 months from now. So TSS stepped up, and they did some videos that we put in that Oracle handbook, which is available to everybody, to help explain how to read these pay slips, because they are very different than what we've had in the past. And again, that is available in our Oracle GCS handbook. We've been doing weekly communications. We didn't do it last week because we're probably going to attach this presentation, but we try to send out communications from the finance area each week, and that's how we let them know where the FAQ is, where the videos are, just to try to be a little more transparent and communicative with the staff. So that is where we are right now. I do appreciate the comments earlier today. I don't disagree with any of them. We still have a lot to do, and we are we're hopeful that this Oracle commitment, and they have made a commitment. We're talking with some of the higher level people in Oracle, and they're sending us some of their best people that they can come help us. We're continuing to use Cherry Road as well. We have not abandoned Cherry Road. They're helping us run the payroll today and tomorrow. So hopefully with those two forces, with Oracle and Cherry Road, that will be able to help our payroll department get out of this, catch up on all these payments that need to be made as soon as possible. With that, I will open it up for questions.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Anyone have any questions or comments?
I have a few.
Okay.
Gary, you mentioned that you would bringing in some more people to help once Oracle and some of these other people got in place. Where are they coming from?
They would be people that understand finance that don't work in finance, that probably are going to be on Melissa's side.
Mm-hmm.
Could be that they work in budgets, or financial secretaries or something like that.
Okay.
We've identified a few people that we know. She's actually been providing us with 1 or 2 people over the last several weeks to help out. But this will be a team of 5 to 10 people
Okay.
that Our vision is that the Oracle resource will show them how to refund, customers' excess, deductions up on the big screen, and then everybody will take one and they'll start working on that on their own, and he'll just, walk around and make sure that everything is working fine. We'll see how that plays out, but it'll be coming from outside of finance.
And doing some reconciliation too?
Right.
Okay, good.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Thank you. Mr. Hoskins, thank you for your presentation, and I appreciate the hard work that you and your team have done, and I know it's been frustrating for everyone, and that's a great understatement, and our folks do deserve better. With regard to the Orbit system, how close are we to June being uploaded?
We were expecting Thursday, Friday for that to be done.
Okay.
It's not going to get done today or tomorrow because this is biweekly, the payroll. So this week, we would be hopeful that it'll be done this week.
Okay, and I think when we were last month, I recall you explaining that we uploaded June and it threw a few errors. Maybe you said 3 or 7. I can't remember the number you said, but then it stopped, and so then we had to go back, and then it made it through those errors, and then we
Right.
found several hundred more. And so I guess
Right.
what my question on June is have we gotten through a lot of those errors, and now we think the errors are gone and it's ready to be accepted?
So I think what you're referring to exactly was April. That's how April did. That's why it took so long.
Okay.
June, we had 300 errors. There were 2 errors per person, so that's 150 people that payroll supervisor has been working on getting those corrected. Have to send some forms to the Treasury Department, the State Treasurer's Office, in order to accommodate that, and those forms are being sent. Some were sent Friday, and some will be sent today and tomorrow.
Okay. And with regard to the folks at the Treasury Department, are they being responsive and helpful to us? Do they understand? the
Extremely.
import?
Yes, sir. I'll interrupt, Mr.
Okay.
Davis. Treasurer Falwell I have a contact in his office, and when he has a question, that contact reaches out and vice versa. So we had to call Thursday, I think it was 6:30 at night. I was talking with that contact to say, okay, we had anticipated this, but we've discovered this. And his response was, that's what we need because we don't want trash. We want clear files and things. And so updated him again on Friday what was going on. And so we're keeping that kind of open communication.
Okay. And with regard to the resources that Oracle has provided us, I mean, do you feel like those resources are adequate and sufficient to get us through what needs to occur in order to move this forward and get this done by the end of the year?
The gentleman that has not yet arrived, I believe he will do a great job. I expect he'll be here next week. The other gentleman, it's going to be a short week for him. He actually worked previously for Cherry Road and worked in the beginning of our conversion. So he is a little bit familiar with us, but he's only here for a few days. He's just helping with the current payroll run right now.
And so when you hear one individual, you go, well, that's not going to do anything. But what Oracle has is a team of people. So this individual identifies it, and then he turns it over to the team to do the work. So he's here with his skill set to be able to work at this level and find it, and then he gives it to the lesser experienced people who can do the actual implementation.
Okay. And I take it those folks are working remote, off-site, working through this on-site individual?
That is correct.
I mean, in order to actually get the technical data work done?
Yes, sir. And part of it is they would say it is a more rare instance where they send someone physical. They like for everyone to be remote, but we have just said we need somebody here that we're interacting with face-to-face to help understand the significance of what we're dealing with to get that.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Lovelace?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Ramsey. I would like to address my board colleagues at this time. And of course, I respect each and every one of you very much. And if I am speaking out of order, I would like to apologize up front. Our constituents entrusted us to take care of our students and our employees in Gaston County Schools. Unfortunately, our employees have been negatively impacted by Oracle payroll system. And many of our constituents do not see us as helping them. Although every person who has contacted me, I have called Mr. Hoskins, Dr. Booker, other people in our finance department, and they have been extremely helpful in trying to get all of the incorrections rectified. Many of our employees, of course, are 10-month employees, and I personally know the importance of planning a yearly budget on 10 paychecks, as do Ms. Guthrie and Mr. Dedman, because they too were in the classroom. And Mr. Ramsey, your wife is there, so you know what I'm talking about as well. And one has to be extremely creative in order just to make ends meet, and especially now with Oracle. Many of our employees are beyond frustrated, and I know this. Fellow board members, I'm asking you tonight to join me in asking Dr. Booker and Mr. Hoskins to develop a financial restitution plan to benefit each and every employee who has been negatively impacted by Oracle. Now, I don't even know if this is possible. I don't know exactly where the money would come from, and I think the most important thing at this point is making sure that we get Oracle up and running correctly first. But I'm looking down the road, if there is any way possible for us to show our employees how much they do matter to us, can we do something for them? And I'm not talking about a $25 gift certificate to a local restaurant, people. I'm talking about a substantial amount of money to let you know that, yes, we care about what you do for our students. We love you and we want to take care of you. And I am so sorry this has happened. There's not a person sitting up here or in this room, except maybe for Dr. Slusky over here, who knows anything about IT and could go in there and make a change, because I couldn't turn a computer on just years ago. And my cell phone has just now been switched from flip to one of the old ones that my daughter discarded. I mean, with technology and we just don't go together. But anyway, in order for this, for us to let our employees know how important this is, I personally think that each month that the employees had an incorrect check, they need to be given financial compensation for that, and additional compensation for each recurring month that this was not taken care of until the checks can be rectified. But first and foremost, I know we have to fix Oracle first. It may be between now and then, as a board and working with financial director, Mr. Hoskins, and our superintendent, maybe there's something that we can do for our employees who have been put out so much by this hardship that they have had to face.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Lovelace. Mr. Dedman. Mr. Dedman?
Well, number one is you have to get the year-to-date earnings correct. So if someone had an extra $500 of deductions taken out, that we have to reimburse that, we'll run that through Oracle, and it will tax affect it and everything, and it will get back into to correcting that, making that year-to-date earnings at 12/31 accurate. That is the goal. And on the flip side, if they were overpaid, then getting that corrected prior to 12/31.
What scares me about some of this is that, what's plan B? I mean, do we have a plan B? I mean, I know that we're sitting here, and I know we have all these people from Cherry Road and Oracle. I mean, is there any other plan if this doesn't, what happens if it doesn't work by November, December? Because I'm like the rest of our board members, it is so frustrating for me to talk to teachers. I mean, and I know nothing about it, but I know there's pain involved there. While you're thinking about that, Leah, one more quick question. The state sends us money every month, correct?
Yes.
To pay our teachers. So I'm supposed to make $5,000, okay? And I get paid $2,000. Where's the other $3,000? Whose bank account is that sitting in, or where is that money at? Is it just floating around in space, or?
So what the state does is they give us positions. So they'll give us one position, whether you pay somebody is a 30-year teacher, maybe it's $6,000 a month. A first-year teacher, $3,500 a month. So they give us one position, and we pay the money, whatever that that salary is from that one position. Does that make sense?
That's what I'm just saying. It's just like the charter schools. They bill us, and we send the money. The state of North Carolina knows how many positions we have and how much those positions are. So they send the money to Gaston County account at the end of the month or something, do they not?
They send it based on the state average of salary. So ours may be above or below that.
Diane gives him the right amount of money. She's being shorted $700 a month.
Right.
Where's the $700? I mean, is it?
It's waiting to be reimbursed to her. I mean, we've got to get her reimbursed. It's not, it's in a bank account.
I'm just saying, I'm just thinking,
Yeah.
where is that money going to?
It's in the bank account, yeah. Which is, payroll comes out of, we have a payroll clearing account.
If it's going into banking account somewhere, it's, can we pay that interest?
We don't earn interest on checking accounts. It's a commercial checking account, you don't earn interest on that.
Be thinking about Plan B. If something, I'm gonna have to get another phone line.
Thank you, Mr. Deb. Ms. Guthrie?
I have questions. I wanted to ask, first of all, did I understand you to say that a team would go out to a school, return, and if there were similar questions, you would put them all together, like frequently answered?
Yes, ma'am. That has
asked
already been put out.
questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, what type of feedback do you provide for the schools? This is what I would feel more comfortable doing. If you go out to a school, you get the questions and/or concerns, come back and you address and develop the strategies or whatever is needed in order to meet the needs. Could you not then arrange to have like a Zoom so that the teachers could all get on and you give them feedback based on the questions that they ask or the concerns that they have?
We could, and if that's helpful, we'll do that. What we're doing is we're having them focus on correcting these, retirement, EPI teachers, these other issues we have on here, because it'll have to be somebody, at a pretty high level. It'll have to be somebody with payroll. It's probably going to have to be one of our top 2 payroll people to do that. I think our customer care team has done a good job. They've learned. They just went to one school at a time, and I think they learned a lot. And now they're going to multiple schools a day. But whatever we can do to help improve communication, we just thought that right now was the best use of resources, because it wasn't taking any of our payroll or finance resources. They were able to continue to focus on these issues. As I mentioned, somebody mentioned the school nutrition. We believe we've got that one fixed, but that took some time and effort. And if we'd pulled those resources off of that, it might be another payroll. And those excess deductions is still the one that's got to take a lot of time, effort, and focus for us to get done.
But did I hear someone say that once the customer care team visits the school, they do not hear anything from them? So I'm saying, could we not provide them with some type of feedback so that they will know that we have acknowledged and that we are working on resolution?
So the way.
That's been our number one complaint.
Yeah.
Besides not getting paid is
Right.
lack of
Right.
communication. And I think what, Dot, I don't mean to interrupt, but I think what Dot's saying is, we've got the right hand out communicating. Is the right hand taking back information to the left hand, which would be you?
Mhm.
And what finance needs to know as far as the pay, but are the questions being answered by someone after the visit? Do they know, okay, I've got this pay issue, is Gary's department now aware of my pay issue if he wasn't aware before? And is there a litany of questions that we can put in some type of form that are general questions that we can give answers to? Is that kind of what you're saying?
I'm just saying they need to understand what's happening once the customer care team visits the school. And you bring the concerns back and they are acknowledged, or you work on a resolution, please keep them informed, keep the teachers of the schools informed. I'm just saying that. The communication is very important.
So what is happening now is that after that customer care team leaves, they have a stack of folders, maybe 2 inches high or so. They bring those folders to finance, and we separate those by the issue. So if it's an excess deduction issue, we're putting that in a folder with other excess deductions. If it was a issue regarding school nutrition summer pay, we put that in a folder so that we have all those issues together, because it's easier for us to address all the similar issues at one time, rather than me working on, Mr. Davis and his individual issue, and then, Ms. Lovelace on her individual issue, which may be different. So that's the way we're doing that. And Dr. Balknight's team is really good about, if they see something as, like, I haven't been paid for August, or I haven't get paid in a certain, pay period, they'll put that in a special folder, and that goes to the top of the list.
I understand all of that. My point is, we need to, once we visit the school, or the customer care team visits a school and return back to you and Dr. Balknight's team or whomever, then there should be a time designated so that a response to that school can be made. And that's why I'm saying, at least give those teachers and educators the opportunity to hear that you have their data, you have placed it in the proper categories, and that you are addressing the individual concerns. And if we could, we Zoom for everything else, just like we have a time to visit a school. Let's say to that school, now we're going to provide you with feedback on October 27th in regards to what we discovered from our visit to your school.
Are you finished, Ms. Scott? All right, thank you. Todd, did you have anything? As a chair, I can tell you, we're fully committed to this. We've been engaged, all of us have heard your emails, phone calls, and everything. We wouldn't wish this on no one. And we are heartbroken that this has really hurt the staff and the teachers. It breaks our heart because we feel like we can't do anything. I'm not a software engineer. I explain to people when they come up to me, I said, well, now I know when people talk about when they buy a car and it's a lemon, you fix it, it breaks again, and fix it, break it. That's how I feel going through this whole thing with all y'all, and it kills us. And I just want to let you know we're 100% committed to get this thing fixed. I talked to Dr. Booker and says throw the kitchen sink at every possible thing you can do to get this thing fixed. Every time we think we get it behind us, it gets in front of us again. And I want to apologize again. I can apologize all the time, but that's not going to solve the problem until we resolve it. And I know that. But you can tell by hearing our voices tonight, we're engaged, we care, y'all know we care. You know, we've taken a lot of hits, and we deserved it. But also you got to realize, we're not running away from the problem. We're running towards the problem. A lot of people run and hide. We're not going to run and hide. We're going to be engaged. I know y'all think we run and hide some. And I see the faces out there, but that's not who we are. Y'all know who we are. Y'all know who we are. And you know we're committed to get this fixed. And patients are thin. Everybody is. We're so frustrated. I couldn't imagine y'all. So thank y'all for sharing your concerns with us. And we're going to work as hard as we can to get it fixed. And thank y'all for all your comments and everything. And Gary, thank you.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is beginning teacher support program plan, Ms. Caroline Black.
Good evening, Chairman Ramsey, Vice Chairman Cherry, members of the board, and Superintendent Booker. It's my pleasure to share information about the Beginning Teacher Support Program for Gaston County Schools. It's not. Oh.
It's on Beginning Teacher Support Plan Program.
I sent it to Robin earlier today. It's okay, though.
Looks like it's not on.
The Beginning Teacher Support Program is a state-required 3-year induction program for teachers that are within their first 3 years of teaching. It is designed to help new teachers become successful educators, meet professional teaching standards, and impact student learning, and fourth and foremost, help BTs remain in the profession. At this time, we have 204 first-year teachers who are supported through our TIPS 1 plan. This begins with support from our Human Resources team as new hires and includes monthly support sessions from our Academic Services Department. We currently have 139 second-year teachers and 73 third-year teachers. Our BT2s and 3s also receive support through TIPS 2 and 3 support sessions with me, as well as our Academic Services Department. Our sessions focus on a wide variety of topics, such as classroom management, curriculum and instruction, school safety, and preparing for evaluations. The Beginning Teacher Program is part of the required Beginning Teacher Plan that's based on state board policy. In our district, we meet these state policy requirements through our HR department support and our Teacher Induction Program for Success, or TIPS. Our plan is updated when needed and brought to our board each year for either review or approval before being submitted to the state. Our plan contains the following required components: a document process for identifying beginning teachers, implementation of a sound induction process, or our TIPS, a formal process for conducting observations and evaluations through our North Carolina evaluation system, a plan for participating in the monitoring and peer review process, and a plan for storing and transferring files to other LEAs and/or charter schools as needed. Upon initial review by our regional educational facilitator, this plan that I have reviewed does meet all the state requirements adequately. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Black. Does anybody have any comments or questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the School Improvement Plan, and this is an information item, Ms. Powers. And she'll take the next two.
Yes. Good evening, Chairman Ramsey, Vice Chair Cherry, members of the board, and Superintendent Booker. Tonight, I'm sharing with you information about the School Improvement Plan process for the 2022-23 school year. It is a requirement of the state of North Carolina that all of our schools create a school improvement plan and use this plan as a tool to drive school improvement over the course of a 2-year time period. The law specifies that each school shall develop a school improvement plan that considers the goals set out in the mission statement for the public schools adopted by the State Board of Education and the annual performance goals for that school as established by the State Board of Education. Annual performance goals must focus on school student performance in reading, math, and communication skills in elementary and middle schools, student performance in courses required for graduation and on other measures in high schools, and hold schools accountable for the educational growth of their students. School improvement plans for non-low-performing schools are on a 2-year cycle, and with the new cycle is beginning in the 22-23 school year and will continue through this school year into the 23-24 school year. Low-performing school improvement plans are on a yearly cycle and must be presented to the board for review. The school improvement plan for Gaston County Schools have been developed and aligned to the requirements of the following documents and sources: the North Carolina State Strategic Plan, Gaston County Schools Strategic Plan, the North Carolina Accountability Model, Title I required components of school-wide programs, and the Cognia District Accreditation Standards. IndaStar is the platform that the state uses to support our school improvement planning. In the state of North Carolina, we refer to IndaStar as NC Star. They are one and the same.
And in the past, our low-performing schools have been required by the state to submit their school improvement plans using the NC STAR platform. It is highly effective in helping schools create and monitor their plans throughout the school year. This platform provides us a way for schools to upload meeting agendas and minutes, as well as set their goals, add strategies and action steps throughout the improvement process. Also, they are able to receive feedback from their executive directors. All of our schools are required to have 4 improvement goals. These improvement goals are to focus on improving student proficiency in the areas of reading, math, and science. For high schools, improvement goals are for focus on English 2, Math 1, Math 3, and biology, as well as our individual subgroups. As a part of the new NC STAR School Improvement Planning Tool, schools are required to focus on key indicators that become strategies in their building that lead to school improvement. In NC STAR, there are 125 indicators that schools may focus on. However, our district has selected 4 common indicators that all 56 of our schools focus on and work towards implementing within their school improvement plan. They are able to select more indicators from those 125 if they choose to, in addition to the 4 common indicators that support their improvement efforts, and is also aligned to our current strategic plan. Those 4 common indicators are as the following. All schools will focus on and implement tiered instructional practices. This would include our MTSS, which is our multi-tiered system of support process that we currently implement at each school. All schools will focus on and implement actions that reduce student discipline and increase our safety. This would include our PBIS, which is our positive behavior interventions and support programs that we have implemented within our schools. All schools will focus on and implement professional development opportunities for our teachers based on information gathered through assessments and walkthrough data. And all of our schools will focus on and implement actions that increase parent involvement. Principals and their SIT teams are required to review their school improvement plan at each monthly meeting and document the action steps they have completed in implementing each indicator, as well as address any new action that needs to be taken. At the same time, our executive directors, along with other district leaders, are able to review these plans and see the additions that schools are making and provide them feedback on those actions that have been implemented or are still in those planning stages. This feedback tool allows our schools an opportunity to change their plan based on the feedback given and to provide an open communication that is focused on school improvement. That is all I have for school improvement plans.
All right. Any comments? Okay. Next one is school improvement for low-performing schools.
Okay, tonight I'm bringing information about our low-performing schools, including their improvement plan process for the 22-23 school year. As stated in my previous presentation, it is a requirement of the state of North Carolina that all schools create a school improvement plan and use this plan as a tool to drive their school improvement over the course of a 2-year time period. However, for our low-performing school improvement plans, they are on a yearly cycle and must be presented to you for your review. In September, the State Board of Education released our low-performing schools for the previous school year. Low-performing schools are identified as those schools that have received a performance grade of a D or F and have school growth score of met or not met expected growth. Remember, this is the first time since the 2018-19 school year that we have received new low-performing schools designations, and they are based on the 21-22 accountability model results. As a low-performing school, our schools are required to submit a school improvement plan using the NC STAR platform. Out of those 125 indicators, our schools are required to focus on 12 key indicators. The executive directors, along with the accountability department, have worked with our low-performing schools on writing their plans and getting them ready for your review. Before I share our low-performing schools for this school year, but designated for the 21-22 school year, I want to share with you just a little information we received from the North Carolina Accountability Results presentation from NCDPI. As you can see, our designations in 2018-19 for our low-performing schools, and districts, along with recurring low-performing and continually low-performing, have significantly increased across the state. In 2014-15, the state of North Carolina began identifying low-performing schools. For the 22-23 school year, we will have 24 schools designated as low-performing schools, and they are listed here for your review. To support our low-performing schools, we continue to follow the timeline that the state of North Carolina has provided us for each step of the low-performing school improvement plan process. Over the month of September and the first few weeks of this month of October, we met with our principals of these identified schools. Our principals have continued to work on their school improvement plans and updating their goals and action steps with their school improvement teams. Now that the plans have been created, the local Board of Education is given time to review the plans and provide us any feedback. 30 days after the plans are reviewed, the local board will vote on the approval of these plans. This vote will occur at our November meeting. After the plans are approved by the local Board of Education, the district has 5 days to submit these plans to the state through NC STAR platform. Tonight, in your packets, I have provided you the logins to all of our 56 schools and their NC STAR passwords and usernames so that you may review those school improvement plans over the next 30 days. Thank you, Chairman Ramsey. That's all I have.
Could you go back to the schools just real quickly?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you got it.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Oh, no. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Powers. Next on the agenda is the high school exam schedule, fall of 2022 and 2023, traditional high schools, Gaston Early College. This is an action item. Dr. Bostic.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Chairman Ramsey, Vice Chairman Cherry, members of the board, and Superintendent Booker. Tonight, I bring you our fall high school exam schedule. As you know, the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction requires that we give all students high school exams the last 5 days of the semester. And so for our traditional schools, the last day of the semester falls on December 21st, and therefore the last 5 days begins with our first day of exams on Tuesday, December 15th. And we would follow through, of course, that Wednesday being a makeup day for exams. Our early colleges, their last day of the semester falls on Friday, December 16th, and therefore they would begin their exams on Monday, December 12th, and go through that entire week. And again, this is an action item.
That's correct. I need a motion.
I make a motion that we approve that exam schedule.
Okay. Second by Ms. Guthrie. Any discussion? All in favor? That's unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is our consent agenda, and luckily there's not too many items on there. So I'm going to ask for a motion.
Motion to accept the consent
Okay.
agenda.
Second, Mr. Dedman. All in favor? That's unanimous. This brings us time to the meeting to hear from our superintendent, Dr. Booker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. A couple things to highlight. I want to thank all of our parents and teachers for a successful parent-teacher conference last Thursday as we conducted those for the fall, first 9 weeks. And I know that, to Ms. Guthrie's early point, a lot of schools did them virtually or by phone. To the meeting that she spoke of on Friday morning, a couple of those TA teachers were very excited because all of their parents had come to see them, and they'd gotten to spend time with that, so it was a good thing. We were able to celebrate last Tuesday at Pinewood. Many of you remember Patsy Norwood.
Yeah.
She taught at Pinewood Elementary for more than 20 years. And in her honor, her family wanted to do an outdoor classroom. And so we had the dedication of that. And it was a partnership between the Norwood family, Good Shepherd Lutheran Church, and a grant from Bank of America. And this outdoor classroom will be a great benefit to Pinewood and their A+ status. So we are appreciative of the Norwood family and to the legacy that Patsy Norwood has left with many of the folks in our community. Would like to remind all of our high school parents that this is college application week, and it's the week when many universities and colleges waive application fees. And so if you've got that stretch school that you were thinking about and didn't want to spend the $75 or $100, a lot of them are waived for you. Also, Gaston College will be having an open house October 25th to show about the opportunities that they offer in the community for our students. The last and neatest one I want to make sure everybody aware of, we have 2 of our fine arts events coming up. All County Chorus concert will be next Monday, October 24th at 7 p.m. at Stuart W. Kramer High School. That is a phenomenal event every year. I really encourage you. That's next Monday, October 24th at Stuart W. Kramer for All County Chorus. And then on Saturday, November 5th, from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m., the marching band fanfare will also be held at Stuart W. Kramer High School. And it's an opportunity to see our bands be the focus beyond just at halftime and entertaining during the games, but to have a great opportunity with our fanfare. And that is a countywide event that is always of excellent performances of our students. Mr. Chair, we do need a closed session tonight for personnel and some other legal matters.
All right, thank you. And thank you for all your time and attention as we have worked to do what is best for our students, teachers, and community. We look forward of our next regular meeting, which is currently scheduled for November 21st, 2022. I need a motion to go into closed session. Mr. Davis.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to go into closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute, Section 143-318.11, A6 for personnel, and A3 for consultation with attorneys, so we can consult with our attorney, protect the attorney-client privilege, and receive advice with respect to a few lawsuits. 19 CVS 3893 McKinney versus Goins, 20 CVS 3924 Gaston County Board of Education versus Shelco, and 20 CV 228 Scott versus Board of Education, and any other legal matters.
In second, Mr. Cherry, all in favor? We're adjourned. back in open session, and I'm going to call on Mr. Dedman. All in favor? And we're adjourned. Thank you.